What's up YouTube, Mav here. Actually right now we're sitting live on twitch.tv/NerdsNCoffee. So today I am building a 100 mil gear build on the US servers, and I'm going to give it away right afterwards. So what I'm doing is building an Archon set. The Archon set, and the reason why I'm doing this, mainly because Diablo is going to be bringing out patch 1.0.8, and it's going to pretty much supercharge the way people play Wizards from here on out. Prior to this patch coming out, as an Archon Wizard, you're really a solo farmer. You're going to go through the game solo because you kind of want to hog all the kills to yourself. And the reason why you do this is because you're staying in Archon much longer. And say if you run with somebody else, like a barbarian or somebody else, they're good to the kills first. You lose your Archon, you're gonna run around, look pretty stupid while doing it. So this is making Archon Wizards, much more playable. Actually, much more social. Let's put it that way. So first things first, you can see my build here. I'm gonna run one quick run through MP9 as my Archon build, and then I'm gonna take all my set off and build it from the ground up. How about that? So let's go. Let's see how fast I die. We have these crazy fallen maniacs all the way around here. This big hefty guy likes to slap people around. Pretty much a domestic violence advocate. I'm not too sure. The gear build that I'm going to build, guys, today is going to be with the Tall Rasha chest. Most of you guys have seen me build sets using Tyrell's Might, and the reason being I use the Tyrell's Might is because prior to the new patch, which is also going to be much more monster density to different acts, different levels, different sections of the game. The best places to farm were in Act 3 here, which is the area that I'm farming right now. Now, the reason why I'm using a Tyrell's Might is because it comes with the 14%, or actually a percent modifier to actually damage to demons and elites. Now, in Act 3 and Act 4 is where you actually get to meet the demons prior to Act 1 and 2, where they're not there yet because you're not that close to hell yet, quote unquote, for the game. So running a Tyrell's Might in these acts actually help you out much more, especially if you have higher DPS. You get much more DPS using a Tyrell's Might, and it's hidden. It's not like the actual paper DPS where you can actually say, hey, this is how much DPS I have, because you don't get to actually know what the actual percentage is when you're actually destroying the different monsters, I guess. I don't know how to really explain it if you're not already a player of this game. So since this is for YouTube, it is a gear build for people who do play Diablo. I'm going to go ahead and assume that you know exactly what I'm talking about, that you've played this game a million times already, and you've already figured out your more efficient routes of farming. So I'm almost done with this little MP9 run. Once I'm done with this, we're going to get right into the gear build and start building a set, hopefully an MP7 capable set with over 250,000 buffed DPS. So wish me luck. Hopefully the market is pretty nice today, and I'm going to give some hints and tips on my point of view in Archon building. I'm sure there's going to be many other streamers out there that say their way is better. It probably is. This is just the way I do it. And benefit for the people on my stream that are sitting there right now waiting so nicely for me. It's gonna go to a winner, randomly rolled winner. Almost done here. Not bad. And once again, this is MP9. The toughest difficulty is going to be MP10, so I'm just one level off of that. However, switching from MP9 to MP10 is much more different than actually playing MP9. So let's see here. I'll probably die right here. Let's see. funny. I never made a YouTube video with an audience. Small audience, but still never made a YouTube video with an audience. I feel kind of nervous. Those guys are the fallen maniacs. Pretty much everybody's susceptible to their shenanigans. They'll pretty much blow you up in one hit, and they don't care how much life you have. Just beat a treasure goblin. Got a demonic essence and some gloves. Let's pick those up. Let's get out of here. That's the end of that run, guys. Welcome to stream sniping. Yeah. Oh, it's happened to me before, guys. I'll be building a gear set online and somebody buys it out from underneath my nose. Buys something that I wanted. Alright. I already have some stuff to begin with, so let's see here. What did this roll? Nothing. 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 Alright. First things first. Weapon. Weapon choice. Weapon selection. This is where you're going to really want to spend most of your gold at. And a lot of people go, well, oh, you shouldn't spend all your gold there in one place. Yes, you should. So, and I'll explain it. And once again, guys, you're going to have a lot of different people say different ways to build gear is the best way. I know a lot of people that would rather build an Archon set with a Scorn because they believe they can get more DPS. I'm not a believer in actually using a Scorn as an Archon weapon, which it does fit the characteristics very nicely, but you can get much more DPS by using, you know, a rare offhand, and, I mean a rare main hand and, you know, a triumvirate offhand. So without further ado, let's start looking for our weapon. What I'm looking for a weapon in an Archon build, even though my Archon set does not use one primarily, I look for a lifesteal weapon. This is primarily going to combat any problems that you may run into with reflex damage groups, any problems that you may run into in big mobs when you're getting pretty much meleeed away. You'll still gain a consistent source of life. So to popular belief, CM wizards or critical mass wizard builds are pretty much reliant on life on hit. Now, an Archon wizard needs life steal because it works much better for them, as well as a lot of other builds. Like, you know, your monk builds will use life steal. Your barbarian builds will use life steal as well. Archon wizards will use life steal. So, first things first, life steal. We're gonna look for socket, and then we're gonna look for crit damage. So, at the very least, on the crit damage end, look for 50%. Just an extra damage modifier. Okay, I want to put a max 40 mil on this deal, so we'll do that. 40 mil. For 31 mil, you already have a Galriki up here. Victory Scorn, it shows 1116 DPS, 40% damage, 60 crit damage, 2.2 lifesteal. Lifesteal a little bit on the low side, so let's keep looking. 2.3. 2.3, 2.4, 2.3. Oh, it's 2.9 right here. 1084.5 with 54 crit damage. That's a good candidate. That's a good candidate right there. 1083 with 59 crit damage. 2.4. 61 crit damage. Let's put this up to 50 mil. 51 with 2.3, 49 here, 59 with 2.4. It's not bad. Let's do lifesteal at 2.5. $56 with 2.8. 57. Alright, keeps coming back to this one, guys. I guess we're going to save a little bit of money on the weapon. It's 1081 right here, 1082 pretty much, with 2.5 life steal, 61 crit damage. Having a little bit more crit damage on your deal does help out in a damage modifier and gets you a little bit more DPS than having, say, 10 more DPS base damage. So, let's see. That's the best one, huh? And it has more attack speed, so let's go with this one, guys. We found our weapon. And that was 22 mil. For sword. Alright. That's out of the way. Now let's look for a tall Rasha chest. Reason why I'm building this with a tall Rasha chest, guys, is for the simple fact that when patch comes out, Act 3 and Act 4 or whatever, Act 3 is no longer going to be the main spot to actually farm in. You're going to be looking for more so Act 1, I believe, in Halls of Agony is going to be the new Act 3, I guess. So that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Alright. Here, if you actually look for all resistance on your tall Rasha chest, you're going to quickly find out that you're going to be paying a lot of money. So let's put this at 25 mil. See if we find anything cheaper than that. These can get really cheap. Let's look for some vitality on here. Maybe 150. Alright, can I go up to 200? 190? 162? That's pretty nice. 190, 172. 191, 160. 296, 153 for 5 mil, but only 8%. 195, 176. Arcane resist, 7 mil. That's it. That's the one right there. Alright, chest piece is done. Let's look for some Zuni boots now. Zuni boots. Somebody asked me the other day, why do you pick Zuni boots over ice climbers for an Archon build or whatever other boots that you can get? Zuni boots have elemental damage, guys. Can't really explain it any other than that. That's what you want is nice 8% elemental. 7% is going to be your last resort. So let's look for some good boots. Get you DPS out here. This one has 186 int, 152 vit, 29 poison. It's not bad. That's 8% right there. I like these with the 47 physical resist. Let's look it up specifically with physical resist. How about that? Physical resist actually helps you out as well with reflex damage creeps. I do apologize, guys, if I'm pausing in between my speak here. Is because I'm trying to build a set. Not good at all. Not good. Let's drop vitality down a little bit, guys. Let's see that these are 2.8 mil, 27 physical resist. Not bad, but this one had 47. We're down to 130 now. Looking for that 8%, guys. That's what we're looking for. 8%. No 8%ers here, huh? So let's drop this down to 120 now. At 55 right there, 7 mil, 55 physical resist. That's nice. Buying it, 1 minute left. So we got boots, we got a chest piece, and we got the weapon. So we're good to go. Already on a good start, guys. 7-7 for boots, chest. Now, I'm not going to be paying too much close attention to shoulders I'm not going to be paying too much close attention to gloves, and I'm not going to be paying too much close attention to amulet and bracers. These 4 things need to be crafted. With the introduction of this most recent patch, came the demonic essence farming, where you farm these items, which is for demonic essences, as well as other materials that you may need. You can craft end game shoulders. You can craft end game bracers, end game gloves, end game amulet. I mean, the list goes on and on. So let's see what's next. I do want to look for a Tarasha Allegiance now. And then you wonder why Tarasha Allegiance. It does come with holy damage, and we're looking for 6% holy damage here, guys. And on this one, I am going to be looking for crit chance. So let's say 8 crit chance. Let's drop this down to 100 and see what we can get. Okay, 7 crit chance. How about that? This one's 20 mil. 202 int, but only 5%. No bueno. Let's do 6%. You got 230. That's 6% arcane damage. That's not bad. 34 max damage on top of that one. That's not bad either. Huh. 6% poison, which also goes along with the 6% poison. 8% poison was 14%. 80% max fire damage was 63, 132, and I found the amulet. There's the amulet. That's one of the more pricey items right there, guys, when you're doing an Archon build set, is the Tarasha Ami. Alright. Search. What pants do you go with, Mav? Inna's Temperance. And I'm going with Inna's for the simple fact is DPS. So when I look for Inna's, I look for double vit Inna's. And let's see if we can get some for cheaper. Let's see how much we can get them for. 140 now. We can get them for 10 mil. Not bad. 140 vit. This one has 143 vit. This one has 144, 140, 140, 140, but no 9%ers, huh? Oh, that's pretty bad. Let's try 130 vit. 9% attack speed is the max roll that you can get on these guys, and it just helps you that much more in the DPS department. Let's go with the 143s then. That's the best one in the price range. 10 mil for the pants. Alright, let's look for some rings. Let's see if we can roll some nice rings. And the rings, I am going to try to look for some all resistance here. See if we can get 50 all res. We're going to focus on trying to get a trifecta ring for cheap. Maybe not. More so we're looking for crit chance and crit damage. Not looking for vitality, but maybe we can get some int rolls. Let's see, cheapest one out there right now with 50 all res is 20 mil. That's way out of range. That's going to take off attack speed. Once you take off attack speed, the cheapest one is 50,000. So now let's look for some better stats. 5% crit, and let's look for 40 crit damage. That's only 5 mil. That's not bad. And this one you get 37 cold resist, 56 all resist. You get the 45 strength, which actually is 45 extra armor, 47 crit damage, 5% crit chance. I like that ring a lot. Those are pretty nice for an Archon beginner set, so can't beat that. That's bought. And this one's nice too. Let me see the one that I have. What do I got here? I kind of want that one too, guys. But we're going to buy a Zunipox. I forgot about that. We need a Zunipox, and this one will have attack speed and crit damage. Why am I getting Zunipox? For the simple fact that you get the set bonus of 130 int, which gives you more DPS. 6%, this one gives you 68 resist alls, 46 cold res, okay. I'm looking for one with fire resistance, by the way. Here's arcane resistance, that's okay. Lightning, that's nice, okay. Arcane. Resist all, 87 resist, 67 life revolve. Okay, arcane, cold. Oh, it has max average damage on it. It's not bad. Average damage, 21 max damage, 70 all res, 84 dex. I don't know if I like the dex roll, but that's okay. Just keep going. Let's keep looking. We're still looking here. See if we look for 7% attack speeds. And 34 crit damage, how about that? And let's look for a poison resist. Or no, not poison resist, fire resist. 7 mil with fire resist. I don't know about that. How much do I got? 22 plus 14. I can swing that. I don't know if I want that though. Sorry guys, this is one of the hardest ones to buy. Just getting the right one. That's pretty nice. That's the one we're gonna buy. Okay, so we got those items. What do we need? We need gloves, shoulders, and witching hour. Gloves, shoulders, witching hour, and helm. Gloves, shoulders, witching hour, and helm. So, witching hour. And witching hour, we're gonna look for some all reds witching hours. With high crit damage. Thank you guys in the stream for being oh so patient with me. I really appreciate it. Thank you guys very much. I think I found my belt though. Found my belt. Let's go and buy that one. Once I'm done buying all the gear, guys, I'm going to go ahead and explain the method to my madness and how I'm doing this without even going through and figuring out what I'm doing. I'm going to buy a Mempo, guys, and one of the reasons being is for the life percentage with the all resistance. So let's look for 250 int. This won't be one that has you know, crit chance, because that's a little bit out of budget right now. $267 int. That's nice. You do want to find one at least that has 9%, like this one right here. Has 264 int, 72 all res, 10% life, 9% attack speed. That's not bad at all. It's actually pretty nice. 79 all res. Why are these rolling dexed? That one rolled vit. Wow. And I found my home. Let's look for some shoulders. to get bit on the shoulders. How about that? Ooh. Vial wards have become pretty obsolete, guys. They still might be endgame if you can find the perfect vial wards, but the ones you can craft give you so much more opportunity of giving you much better stats in DPS, vitality, and pretty much survivability. These are pretty nice. Let's see. Nice thing about Vial Wars is that they do come with built-in armor, so it does help you out in the long run with more survivability than you can get on some crafted shoulders. I think this is the best bet right here, guys. 5 mil for some Vial Wards. Now, time for some gloves. Let's see. Gloves, we're going to look for crit chance and crit damage. I am going to start off with attack speed to see how the market goes. Okay. Crit damage, we're going to try to go above 45. We're going to try to keep crit chance about 7. And attack speed at 7. Gloves are pretty cheap right now. This is amazing. Oh, look at those stats for 3.5 mil. Poison resist, fire resist. Nice. Trifecta gloves. Right there. So, what am I missing? I got 2 rings. Oh, I have an offhand. Bracers. That's what I'm looking for, is bracers. So let's look for some bracers. Bracers looking for 6% crit. Let's look for 150 int. Let's look for some all resistance here too. Maybe 50 all res. These look like some pretty nice bracers shaping up right there. So let's see. Some cold res there. Some arcane resistance. That's nice resistance right there too. 5 mil. Bam. Alright. So, let's count up our tally so far. Got 5 mil for bracers. 3.5 for gloves. 5 for vials. Mempo was 2. Witching Hour was 3. Zunipox was 5. And the other ring was, what was that? 5.5? Alright. Let's see how much all that adds up to. Where's my calculator? Why don't I have a calculator? $95 mil. 95 mil right there, guys. All that gear costs 95 mil to the T. So that gives us 5 mil to buy some gems. And we're going to need 6 gems. We're going to need 5 topazes. So let's see how much 5 topazes cost. I got 5 mil left, right? So 5 topazes is 3.45 mil. And that's in star shape, so let's go ahead and buy those. Buy. We need 1 amethyst. Maybe I can get a better amethyst. Let's see. Flawless star, maybe? You know what? I'm going to go over 500,000 gold. River Mud, I didn't buy the offhand, and the reason being is because I just found one running through the stream right here. So that's it right there, and it actually had nice elemental damage on it already, over 200 average damage with vitality. So I saved some gold there, but in the real world events, I would have bought one, and I probably wouldn't have spent more than 5 to 10 mil. So the gems would have been something that, if you spend 100 mil on the gear build, the gems would have been farmed. But I used the gold, leftover gold, to buy gems. Let's go ahead and send all that to my stash now. So in essence, the gear build cost 100,354,000 gold for a complete gear set. We're going to change this down to MP7, and after I equip all this, we're going to do one test run, and we are going to get off and return back to regular streaming. Alright, wish me luck, guys. Let's see how we do on this. Taurasha chest piece, Taurasha neck, Inna's pants, Witching Hour, Zunipox, the stand, the helm, the shoulders, bracers, boots, gloves, offhand, main hand. Oh man, you know what? Epic failure, guys. I totally forgot to buy a emerald for the weapon. So let's put one in for now. You know what? I'll craft one real quick. How about that? Oh, I don't even have any tomes, so we'll just throw that in there. Bam. Think about it this way: if you put a better gem in there, it would be much nicer. So we're gonna take off Glass Cannon because that's a self buff that already gives you a passive buff, and we're gonna take off the Scoundrel. Dismiss him out of here. Okay, gear build is at 184,854 DPS, which probably relates to about 180,000 unbuffed DPS for, maybe a Paragon 0 to Paragon 10 or so. I am a Paragon 81, so I do get a lot more DPS, but based on top of that. So this is exactly where I wanted to be with the gold that I spent. So let's put this back on. Glass Cannon. Close it back up. Rebuff. 253,000 DPS. Let's go ahead and grab Sir Scoundrel and see how much the DPS goes up there with him added on. And in group play, guys, this is the perfect build to run with a group. Let's test it out. This is MP7, guys. I could have went with the Taos Hem 2 illicit. I'm partial to more survivability with this. MP7 run, guys. If you're seeing what I'm doing here, I'm melting faces. I'm melting faces off here. As well, the gear build would have had at least another 10,000 DPS, at least, if I would have used a perfect star or higher, or radiant star emerald for the actual gear set. So think about it that way. That would have given probably closer to 200,000 unbuffed DPS. So today's build to me was a nice little success. As you guys can see, this is an easy MP7 gear build set with 47 life. Actually, we didn't even look at that. 47,000 life on here. Let's look at the survivability. Look at all that all res, guys. In the 900s easily. 852 being the lowest resistance, and that's on poison. 1024 on fire resistance. That's simply amazing stats, and it's going to be given away to my viewers. More gear builds like this will be done shortly, guys, so thank you, YouTube. If you like the video, go ahead and hit the like button, I guess. Subscribe. I have no idea if that helps me out or not, but why not? And hook us up. This is Mav with Nerds and Coffee. You can find us on twitch.tv/nerds, NerdsNCoffee. And for people on the stream, I'm going to come right back and we're going to do this giveaway right now.